Welcome to Paradigms at paradigms.life, the radio show and podcast that brings you inspiring people with visions of a viable future for life on Earth that includes humans. Hi, I'm Baruch, host of Paradigms. Thanks for tuning in. I think you're going to enjoy this episode. I'm speaking with one member of a band of three. It was an amazing conversation, and the music is quite powerful. I think you're really going to enjoy. Disclaimer, please forgive my pronunciations. My Portuguese is non-existent, but the music is just fantastic, and this guy is really interesting. So we're going to get right to it and meet this fascinating guest on this episode of Paradigms. Falú Quilombo of TribalMixtura, welcome to Paradigms.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you here. I know your bandmates Claridad, Bértola, and Sebass Forero couldn't join us, but I'm really glad that you're here.
Yeah, thanks.
So you guys are making this amazing music. I just watched the video for Soy, and it's more than just music. I mean, the video, it's a ceremony, it's a ritual, and it's, you know, let's jump right in. This is going into deeply spiritual places for all three of you, I think. And tell me about this, what you all are doing.
Yeah, for me, I used to do just music, music. That was all it. I remember that in the past, I never connected with bandmates in general because I had like my way of thinking and my way of being. And usually I never connected with anyone. When we started, there were little things that happened that even though we didn't know at the time, they just made us go. And I remember what connected us first was basically Brazilian music. That's why everything that we did at the beginning were versions of Brazilian music. But as time went by, we started noticing many things. In my case specifically, I started to see in other people things that I really admired. And I started also to understand myself as a musician and what I needed to do. The song Soy, or I Am in English, for me, endured throughout all the maturation it took, at least for me, to understand myself and what I needed to do in music. And helped me understand also what I started to do. I stopped playing music with some other people because I knew that what I needed to do was this. I needed to find ways to get the words out there to talk about things that weren't being talked about in today's music. So for me, it was amazing.
How did the three of you find each other?
Claridad and Sebastian, they already knew each other. They were a couple. One day, I was walking near the Brazilian restaurant where casually that day she was there because she forgot something and she went to pick it up. I know the owner of the restaurant, and I'm walking near the restaurant and my wife starts saying, "You need to go inside." I'm like, no, I'm not going today because there's too many people. She must be busy. You need to go inside. Nah, I'm not going. You need to go inside. She was like very, very aggressive on it that I needed to go inside. I was like, okay. So I went inside. As soon as I went inside, my friend sees me and she says, "You need to meet someone." And she looks at the stage. "You come." She gets up. She comes to me. "You guys needed to meet." And I was like, whoa, okay. And she says like, "Come and meet my friend." And she takes me where Sebastian was, where they were about to play. And I just sat there for like an hour and watched the show that they did. That was basically, she was singing with a pandeiro and he was with the bass, and that was it. And I loved it. I was like, wow. So that's the way that we all three of us got together. From there, everything went real fast.
You've been covering these wonderful Brazilian pieces for a few years now, and you've got a bunch of them out, and they're really wonderful. And it sounds like what you're saying is that those were kind of like your school on how to play together and discover what the three of you really were going to co-create.
Exactly, co-create. That's the word. My wife uses that word a lot. It's the first time that I hear someone else saying it in English. and wow, I really like that. Yeah, also the specific songs that we started picking up, I learned that from Claridad. We need to pick songs that give a specific feeling to people. You just can't pick a hit, because not all hits actually send the right vibe, the right thing. And I was like, you're right. You see, I learned a lot from them. What I am today is thanks to them, because I didn't know. Sometimes you need people to let you know who you are, like the song says. And they helped me a lot to that. I've had more experience in music than them. And I would always say that I've been lost like many years. And recently now, I'm 42 now, I finally know what is it that I needed to do thanks to them. So for me, this is amazing.
That's the first part of my conversation with Falú Quilombo from the band TribalMixtura, or TribalMixtura. Again, my pronunciation, please forgive. The music is really something, and as you can tell, he's a very enthusiastic, interesting person. So let's get to some of the music, and then we'll be back with more interview. Here is a song from TribalMixtura, Ande So. This is Paradigms at paradigms.life.
De onde viajei, se ela botar fé na minha história, que a derrota vem do coração. Vou acender o paro mais bonito, feito na ilha de Madagascar. Um pobre de Javão, onde mina viola, comunidade de quem sabe onde quer chegar. Reparei a flor no seu vestido, sou guerreiro da aura boa, pode merecer. E ela parou, olhou, sorriu, me deu um beijo e foi embora. Não vi mais a gata, mas tenho minha gaita pra me consolar. Yeah, 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 yeah. Andei só pela noite, cantei um reggae pros cachorros da rua. Andei só pela noite, cantei um verso daquele velho samba pra lua. Andei só pela noite. Preciso de mostrar pra ela que merece o seu tempo pra dizer um pouco das ideias novas, dos lugares de onde viajei. Se ela botar fé na minha história, que a derrota vem do coração. Vou acender o paro mais bonito, feito na ilha de Madagascar. O pobre de Javão, onde mina viola, comunidade de quem sabe onde quer chegar. Reparei a flor no seu vestido. Só guerreiro da hora boa pode merecer. E ela parou, olhou, sorriu, me deu um beijo e foi embora. Não vim mais sacar, mas tenho minha gaita pra me consolar. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Ande so, and that's TribalMixtura, and for those of us in English, it's spelled TribalMixtura, one word. All right, let's get back to my conversation with Falú Quilombo. That is so cool to encounter people who kind of like a lens help you focus on what is your actual mission.
Exactly.
Huh. Did you like get it right away when you heard them play and met them? Were you like, oh my God, there's something here? Or were you like, oh, this is interesting?
At that time, I just liked it. I just liked their vibe. And I remember after it ended, I went to talk to Sebastian, and I told him, let's get together. And I don't know, let's see what happens. On that same week, we met. On the next week, we were recording. Because like each one of us carried something that was needed in order for the other thing to happen. So like for me, that was it. Everything started to move and move. Each one of us had like their function, and we just took it and made it go through.
How would you characterize the mission? What is it that you want people to get?
I discovered that I specifically, myself, my mission, I need to go specifically on the root chakra. So on the music that I do on my own, I tend to go over those things that have to do with the root chakra. Sebastian, for example, he goes to another chakra. I think he still doesn't know which is it, but I know that since I was the first one to know mine, I'm supposed to help him find his. And when that happens, I know that I'm going to learn something else. So basically, inside TribalMixtura, each one of us will take one chakra, and that will make a whole human. And for me, that's the way that we are sending different vibes, different information to people at the same time. I remember one time, there's a song that hasn't come out that I was telling that I want to talk about, dancing, but that some people listen to some music and they move like this, and some move their feet like this. But isn't there like an explanation to all of that? And that's the way that you can listen to music and not know what the lyrics are saying, but you can feel them. and you can look into this other person that maybe doesn't speak your language, but you will be able to understand yourself dancing. So yeah, for me, that's been the thing of the mission, learning which is your chakra, taking care of it, but not staying there, because you need to learn from the others. You cannot stay in just one. You need to be whole. And to be whole, you need to go to each one of your levels. That's the only way that we're going to be able to get into greatness. And that will never stop. That's a constant cycle. So that's what we're trying to do.
I really love that. And I know what you're talking about. And it seems like what you're doing is by attuning yourself to that place, to that chakra in that moment, and with all of you doing different attunements of yourselves, you're playing to the whole energy body of the listener so that you're really resonating with the listeners, gets to resonate with you on literally many levels of themselves at one time. That's very powerful.
Exactly. It's interesting because one of the last things that I learned, because, my wife, she is auto-acknowledgement. I don't know how they call it here in the States. In Spanish, is autoconocimiento. She's a teacher of that. And I remember, because she knows me from the past, and she was telling me, you need to do music that does this and this and this. And I remember when she talked to me about that, I was looking at her, I was like, you're crazy. And then when this thing happened, that she makes me go into this place, that's something that always stuck in my head. She made me go into, I didn't want it to go. She made me go inside. So for me, always has been like, and I've been analyzing and looking and looking and looking, and I can see that these are things that were put in my path. Maybe people, if I start talking to someone else, some other interviewer, he will start saying, you're crazy. But for me, I'm not. But for me, that's how it is.
The impression I get is that if these things had not been put in your path, you could have gone in a direction that was not so great.
Exactly. So I look at the lyrics that I'm writing now on the curiosities that I have now. I even recently have gotten to the point to say that, you know what? Fears and vices are inside everybody, and they live with us. You have to be able to look to them into their eyes and respect them, because they're there. And if you don't respect them, you will be at some point be attacked by them, because we all have fears, we all have vices. But many people say, no, I don't have that anymore. No, why you say that? How do you think that all the homeless people get into that stage? Because they think that they're bigger, that they're better. No, I'm already past that. It's the same thing that happens with Mother Nature. When they said, no, we're going to do these constructions, and don't worry about the sea. Now, if the sea says that it's going to come, it's going to come. You're not bigger than the Mother Nature, and we need to respect it. And that's something that I'm trying to do now, finding ways to write about that.
We'll be back with more of this conversation. I hope you're enjoying it. Falú is such a present person. But here's some more music from TribalMixtura. It's called O Canto de Cidade.
A cor dessa cidade sou eu. O canto dessa cidade é meu. A cor dessa cidade sou eu. O canto dessa cidade é meu. O que entra na rua é fé. Eu vou andando no pé pela cidade bonita. Eu tô aqui no frangé. E a força que lhe tem ninguém explica. Ela bonita. O que é tua rua fé? Eu vou andando no pé pela cidade bonita. Eu tô aqui na frangé. E a força que lhe tem ninguém explica. Ela bonita. Verdadeiro amor. Você vai onde eu vou. Verdadeiro amor. Você vai onde eu vou. Não diga que não me amanhã. Me voltasse no roteiro, mas tem ponto final. Eu sou o primeiro que canta, eu sou o carnaval. A cor dessa cidade sou eu. O canto dessa cidade é meu. A cor dessa cidade sou eu. O canto dessa cidade é meu. Porque da rua fé eu vou andando no pé pela cidade bonita. E o toque do froger e a força que ele tem, ninguém explica. Ela bonita. O que da rua fé eu vou andando no pé pela cidade bonita. E o toque do froger e a força que lhe tem, ninguém explica. Ela bonita. Uou, verdadeiro amor. Uou, você vai onde eu vou. Uou, verdadeiro amor. Uou, você vai onde eu vou. Yeah. Não diga que não me quer, não diga que nunca mais. Eu sou o silêncio da noite, eu sou da manhã. Me voltasse não tem, mas tem ponto final. Eu sou o primeiro que canto, eu sou o carnaval. A cor dessa cidade sou eu. O canto dessa cidade é meu. A cor dessa cidade sou eu. O canto dessa cidade é meu.
O Canto de Cidad, TribalMixtura, wonderful music. Now, so far what we're hearing from them is their versions of these popular Brazilian songs. And at the end of the show, we're going to hear their very powerful original piece. And Falú is telling us about the evolution of this music and how this all came about. Let's get back now to my conversation with Falú Quilombo. Did you ever read the books by Carlos Castaneda, the Don Juan books?
No.
So Carlos Castaneda is a guy who wrote all these books in the 1960s and 70s about going and meeting a shaman called Don Juan and about what he was taught. And then there was controversy. Was it real? Did he make it up? Da, da, da. In a way, it doesn't matter because Don Juan is teaching Carlos exactly what you're talking about, which is to become aware of the nature of reality and respect it and learn to work with it instead of opposing oneself to the flow of the way things are.
Carlos Costanera, you said?
Carlos Castaneda. Check him out. I think it's, and, you know, some of it may seem like, you know, nonsense, but it's very interesting because it also challenged, you know, it was big in the US in sort of the transcendental hippie movement. And it really both added to and challenged people's sense of the status quo and the belief in a static reality that now many of us understand is not actually real.
Yeah.
But what you're talking about reminded me of that very much.
I'm going to look for it.
Well, you're clearly on this path of discovery, and even if you got dragged kicking and screaming a little bit, you've embraced it, and it sounds like you're getting your mind blown.
Yeah, I am. Actually, this is the first time that I get interviewed by someone like you, because I read about you, and I was like, whoa, it's like a sign that you are in a new path that you've never been before, because this person wants to talk to you. So I was really looking forward to this because I know it, and I'm really thirsty and looking for more. For example, one of the things that I also was able to do within TribalMixtura was actually accept myself, because I started singing like for real. I've always been like, no, I'm just a keyboard player, piano player. First started doing beats, but I was like always like maybe ashamed of my voice. Thanks to Claridad and Sebastian, I was able to say, yeah, it is my voice, and actually find it. And now, like, I feel like I'm full of the blue energy that specifically Claridad throws out when she sings. I was able to get full by that energy. And now I'm like pretty, what's the word? Orgulloso. I forgot the word in English. Proud of my voice. And I'm like, nah, I have a good voice. I'm going to do it. I'm not ashamed anymore. I'm learning Portuguese now because I want to be able to sing in all three languages, Spanish, English, and Portuguese. And I think it'll be better if people can start to listen other different kinds of languages, not close myself, not close the music, be as open as it can. And I think it'll be the best way to embellish the feeling and everything.
I love it's like you're right in the heart of the flame of learning.
Exactly. Yeah.
I get to talk to lots of people, but not everyone is in that moment. You're like right in that moment at this point in your life. It's really quite something.
Yeah. I'm really glad. Even of the bad things, because that's the thing. People think that everything has to be perfect. And no, sometimes we need to be aware of the things that are not perfect. And being able to look at them, this is not perfect, but wow, how good that I'm able to see it, that it's not. And to work on it, also to understand it, because maybe that imperfection is something that they are giving to you because you will be able to maybe help that person, and that person helps you. For example, I think that I'm helping my wife right now, and I need to be glad because she made me go into that restaurant. I didn't forget that. She made me go. So do you feel good about yourself now? Yes, it's thanks to her. You cannot forget that.
How long have you known her? How many years?
13 years. Yeah, 13 or 14 years, yeah.
So when you met her 14 years ago, the seed of this going into the restaurant was planted.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, because since then, it's when she started to talk to me about spirituality and all of that. She thought that I was into it because of the way I talked. But then she knew that I didn't know anything. I just was somebody that maybe was open, and she started to talk to me about things that at first I was like, huh, what are you saying? But I didn't say no. I said, okay, I'm going to keep listening. And I kept listening. And I can see now most of the things, a lot of things that she used to say, and I was like, well, I believe in them now. So I just maybe need to find now ways to put it in a way that I can feed it to other people, because right now in the world that we are living, it's needed.
You're not kidding.
The pandemic made people like go crazy and stuff, and they're like, they have a lot of violence in them, and they're like stressed, and I can see the media is doing efforts to keep it that way. Mm-hmm. So like, okay, I remember in the past I used to be like, oh, let's go fight. No, let's not fight. Let's just talk and find maybe ways to people to understand other things, and not raise so much the attention, because maybe the people from the media won't like it, that I'm taking them away clients. But yeah, that's what I'm doing, because people need to be relaxed. People need to go more into nature, breathe more air, walk more, use a bicycle, eat healthier, not so many processed foods. A lot of things that will make you better.
That are basic, easy life things.
Exactly.
I'm talking with Falú Quilombo of the band TribalMixtura, and I hope that he does go check out the Carlos Castaneda books. I hope you, dear listener, will also check out those books if you haven't read them. They are mind-expanding. All right, let's listen to some more music, and then we'll get back with more conversation, starting out with a piece called Bano de Folas, TribalMixtura. You're listening to Paradigms at paradigms.life.
Saí pra te procurar, andei a cidade inteira, mas cadê você, cadê você? A cidade é grande, as pessoas muitas, e eu por aí, se te encontrar, vou pedir a Oxalá, Oxalá quem guia, Oxalá quem te mandou. Tanta volta pra uma resposta, 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 tanta volta pra uma resposta. Nenhuma resposta, mais um punhado de folhas sagradas pra me curar, pra me afastar de todo mal. Para raio, verde branca, asa verde, abre o caminho, baixo-lhe. Foi numa quarta-feira, saí pra te procurar, andei a cidade inteira, mas cadê você, cadê você? A cidade é grande, as pessoas muitas, e eu por aí, sem te encontrar, vou pedir a Oxalá, Oxalá quem guia, Oxalá quem te mandou. Tanta volta pra uma resposta, 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 tanta volta pra uma resposta. Nenhuma resposta, mais um punhado de folhas sagradas pra me curar, pra me afastar de tudo mal. Para raio, verde branca, acha verde, abre o caminho, baixo-lhe. Para raio, papapá, para afastar inveja, para atrair o amor, para atrair tudo que foi bom. That's my love, freedom that I can share everywhere. I want just one reason to turn to joy everywhere. Se tempo, vivo por segundo. Perdoa, meu amor, eu nobre vagabundo. Perdoa, meu amor, eu nobre vagabundo. Perdoa, meu amor, eu nobre vagabundo. Perdoa, meu amor, eu nobre vagabundo.
That one's called Nobre Vagabundo. And before that, we heard Bano de Folas. And for those of you who speak Portuguese, you know what I'm trying to say. All right, and now here's the next part of my conversation with Falú Quilombo, who is the keyboard player for TribalMixtura. And you hit on the thing, which is the real bottom line is human violence, which exists in so many forms. It can be structural violence, the way a society is organized to put some people at the bottom and some on the top. It can be, the wars that we see. It can be the violent crime. It can be the sexual violence that occurs between people. All of these things. I mean, and when the pandemic first happened, it's not that everything suddenly was perfect, but for a little while, it stopped. We could do that, just like that, as a world.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, as these things have come to you and you have opened yourself to things, and it sounds like you very deliberately realized, I have an opportunity to open myself to something, and you made a choice to do it. But, sometimes people have things come to them and they resist it, or they don't see it, or it scares them, or they think, well, what do I have to let go of if I'm going to? What was any of that process for you?
I got scared too, but I don't know when or who taught me that if the root of what's going on is good, you just go even though you're scared. For example, I would say that I got scared on things, for example, with Claridad. I got scared with her and some things, but I looked at it and I said, maybe I need to help her. Later, I understood that you need to help her with that the same way that she helped you with some other things. Then later, I started to notice things also on Sebastian, and I said, whoa, he has a power that I don't know. I want to learn from it. And I remember like, hey, I gave him stuff like equipment and stuff. Take that and do something. And if you need me, let me know. Because in the past, I usually gave people stuff already done. I did this. Check it out. I was curious. I want to know what he does because I want to learn the way he does it. Because I know it will take me somewhere else. And people will say, but aren't you happy where you are right now? Yeah, but imagine where I'm going to get after he goes through me. So I just want to go. There's an album that is going to come out that it's a dub album. It's the versions of the songs we did. I remember the first time that I listened to the first mix that we had of one of the songs, I was like, wow, this sounds, it passed like a movie through my mind of how everything went going. And I was like, wow, these two people came to my life and I've done all of this. And I was like, because they're into ayahuasca and all that kind of stuff that I don't know. I haven't gotten so deep into that. I was like, you know what? Whatever they say, I'm just going to go because I know that whatever thing they put me on, it'll do me good. So it was the first time in my life that I could say that I would pass away the power of me and give it to someone else here. Here's me, do whatever you want with me. I trust whatever is it that you want to take me to. And for me, that was big. I was like, whoa, so I really trust these people in that way? I was like, yeah. So like, I knew that, I just have to go. This is one way. There's no turning back. So, yeah.
You are embracing the adventure of the life.
Yeah.
this is why I do this show, because everyone has this within them, but for whatever reasons, lots of people's lives are set up so that they feel separated from magic, from the mystery, from the enthusiasm, from the adventure. And everyone has their circumstances, and I'm not here to say what about that. I don't know what people should do, but I believe strongly that everyone's capable of being inspired and looking outside of the box, and maybe even stepping outside of the box and actually embracing life without all the crazy, terrible things we do. Life itself is a magnificent, amazing thing. I mean, we still, with all our science, we don't understand the spark of life. We know how it happens, but we really don't understand. You know, if we weren't dealing with the violence and all of the fear and that whole complex of stuff that people do, this place would be amazing for everyone. And that's kind of what I try to hold out a glimpse of for people. And I think you are showing us some of that.
It's like that French movie from the 70s, I think it is, or 80s. I don't remember the name, but it's like a future movie, but they live like it was in the past, and there's no government.
La Belle Verte?
Aha, La Belle Verte, that same movie.
It's an amazing film. I hope listeners will seek it out. You can now watch it for free online through the United States Congress archives.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'm talking with Falú Quilombo of the band TribalMixtura. It was such a kick to have him mention the film La Belle Verte, which is one of my favorite films, and I think one of the best movies ever made. And I hope you'll check it out, La Belle Verte. There's a link to it on the Paradigms website, paradigms.life, a link to watch it for free. Check it out. We'll be back with the final part of my interview with Falú Quilombo after we hear a couple more tracks of music. This one is called Infinito Particular from TribalMixtura.
Se humilhar e o pior de mim, o meu termômetro, meu quilate. Vem, cara, me retrate. Não é impossível, eu não sou difícil de ler. Faça a sua parte. Eu sou daqui, eu não sou de Marte. Vem, cara, me repara. Não vê, tá na cara, sou porta-bandeira de mim. Sol não se pega ao entrar no meu infinito particular. Eu algum instante sou pequenina, também gigante. Vem, cara, se declara. O mundo é portátil pra quem não tem nada a esconder. Olha a minha cara, eu sou mistério, não tem segredo. Vem cá, não tenha medo. A água é potável, daqui você pode beber. Isso aqui é o nosso de Marte. Vem, cara, me repara. No veda na cara, sou porta-bandeira de mim. O telefone tocou novamente. Fui atender e não era o meu amor. Será que ela ainda tá muito zangada comigo? Que pena, ai, que pena, ai, que pena. Por isso ela me entende, me acorde na queda, na ascensão. Ela é a paz da minha guerra, ela é meu estado de espírito, ela é a minha proteção. Que pena, ai, que pena, que pena, ai, que pena. Por ela eu sou mais eu, por ela eu sou mais um, por ela eu sou criança, eu sou a paz, eu sou o amor, a esperança. O telefone tocou novamente, fui atender e não era o meu amor. Será que ela ainda tá muito zangada comigo? Que pena, ai, que pena, que pena, ai, que pena. Com ela eu sou mais eu, com ela eu sou mais um, com ela eu sou criança, eu sou a paz, eu sou o amor, a esperança. O telefone tocou novamente, fui atender e não era o meu amor. Será que ela ainda tá muito zangada comigo? Que pena, ai, que pena, que pena, que pena, que pena, ai, que pena, que pena, ai, que pena.
Okay, you just heard something called O Telefone Tuku Novamente. And before that, Infinito Particular, TribalMixtura. And now here's the little final part of my conversation with Falú Quilombo. I listened to the music and I really loved it, and I really enjoyed the video, the imagery, with the sounds. I mean, it's a watching the video can be a transformational experience. You can go into the ceremony that's happening.
Yeah. That video was because Sebastian is the one that does the video. He does the photography, and he's really into that. Now he's working on the visuals that we're gonna do for the dub album, and yeah, he's the one that guides all that. I put myself in his hands on everything visual because that's not my strong. My strong is the sound, and that's what I do. And so, he's the one, the clothing, that was basically done between both of them. So yeah.
Falú, it is a complete pleasure to talk with you. Couldn't be more thrilled, honestly, from everything that's happened in our conversation. This is like one of those moments.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you so much for being on the show. It's just a quick conversation, but we will talk again.
All right. Yeah, for sure.
And thank you for what you're putting out in the music. I believe it has an important role to play. So I'm glad to bring it to people.
Thanks, Baruch. Thanks.
All right. Be well.
Be well.
Falú Quilombo, it was a complete pleasure to talk with you. What a joy. I totally enjoyed our conversation. Your enthusiasm and your willingness to be right on the edge of your learning, and how excited you are about the music. Just a blast. And of course, to find someone who loves the film La Belle Verte as much as I do, also really exciting because it's such an incredible piece of art. Folks, if you'd like to know more about this band, they have a YouTube page, and there will be a link to that on the Paradigms website, paradigms.life. And there you can see the beautiful video for their song Soy. I really encourage you to watch it. They also have an Instagram page. It's TribalMixtura Musica, TribalMixtura Musica. Definitely check them out. Be on the lookout for more amazing music. They have all this pieces coming out soon with new videos, and it'll all be worth checking out. So thank you so much, Falú Quilombo, for being on the show, and you and your bandmates keep making the amazing music. I think one can take a lot from this interview with Falú, his enthusiasm, the way it all happened, kind of magically, his wife insisting he go into the restaurant and where he met the people who became his bandmates, being willing to kind of embrace that magical edge of life and see what happens and follow inspiration. It's a cool thing, and I imagine everyone listening can remember times in their life when they've done that or where they turned away from that maybe. It's worth thinking about. The other thing I really love that he said is he talked about listening. So I hope you enjoyed this episode of Paradigms and that you'll visit our website, paradigms.life. And remember, you can find Paradigms wherever you find your podcasts. Paradigms has a Patreon campaign going, patreon.com/paradigms. We can really use your support. We're going to wind up this episode with the song Soy from TribalMixtura, and I hope you'll go to YouTube and watch the video that goes along with it. It's powerful. And let's let the word for the week be serendipity. Those things that happen that just are perfect and amazing, that you don't expect, that are just so timely. I had one happen yesterday. Notice serendipity in your life. All right, Baruch signing off for this episode of Paradigms. We'll be back next time with more inspiring people. Until then, let's enjoy serendipity and be well.
Soy fuego, soy viento, soy tierra, soy agua. Soy mujer, madre, abuela, crianza. Soy acorde, soy pincel, soy tempero, soy café. Soy suéter, soy desnudez. Ola en el mar, río también. Soy vino, soy manta, soy fe, soy polvo. viento, soy calma, soy pluma y asana, soy samba y samba. Soy maga y artesana, soy colores en el alma, soy todo y no soy nada. Soy nada de lo que fui, soy luz en la sombra sin fin. Soy nada de lo que fui, soy luz en la sombra sin fin. Soy nada de lo que fui, soy luz en la sombra sin fin. Soy nada de lo que fui, soy. Soy luna y sol en acuario, mulo, jazmines, soy palo santo. Soy yerba mate, soy azaí, agua y azar, chacrona, marirí. Incertidumbre y claridad en pies, raíces y alas para volar. Soy nada de lo que fui, soy luz en la sombra sin fin. Soy nada de lo que fui, soy luz en la sombra sin fin. Soy nada de lo que fui, soy luz en la sombra sin fin. Soy nada de lo que fui, soy luz en la sombra sin fin. Soy nada de lo que fui, soy
You've been listening to Paradigms at paradigms.life.